Now with problem number 19, it's a little bit tricky because you see the function composition might be the square root of 1 minus e to the 2x. However, the derivative of 1 minus e to the 2x is going to be negative 2 e to the 2x. And we don't have an e to the 2x in the numerator, so that isn't going to work if we use that. So you always have to be on the lookout for these inverse trig integrals here. If you recall a few things, that the derivative of sine inverse of x is 1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. It's something that you need to memorize. And another one is going to be the derivative of tangent inverse of x, that is 1 over 1 plus x squared. Now there's the secant also, but I won't go into that right now. These are two that you absolutely have to memorize and to be able to identify when they show up in integration problems. So it kind of looks like the integrand looks kind of like the derivative of inverse sine of x. However, we don't have 1 minus x squared. But what we would need to do is to be able to write that as integral e to the x dx over the square root of 1 minus something squared. And if you look at it carefully, hopefully you can spot that that is e to the x quantity squared. E to the x squared is simply going to be e to the 2x. So that's what we're looking for. And now if we use e to the x as our u, the derivative of e to the x, or du, would be e to the x dx, which is our numerator, and everything's going to work out fine. So let's see what happens here. So we have, let u equal e to the x du is e to the x dx. So that's our numerator. And this is not a definite integral, so we don't have to worry about our limits here. But what we are going to get then is du over square root of 1 minus u squared. And that is the form that we're looking for the inverse sine. So it turns out that this is all just the inverse sine of u plus c, and then we're going to substitute back u being e to the x plus c. We look for our answers there. Alright, so it appears to be d. It's the only one that is actually an inverse sine function with e to the x on the inside. Alright, so you have to watch out for the inverse trig functions and how they use function composition. So this is a very good example of that. And we'll stop at this point.